All right, so today what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to make a very versatile meal. I'm going to cook a vegan meal that can be easily transferred or flipped over into a pescatarian meal. So today I'm actually going to make a coconut curry, a Thai coconut curry meal, and obviously, and then I'm going to be able to change it over into a pescatarian meal. So since I said we're cooking Thai coconut curry, let's go ahead and start with our ingredients. I have some coconut curry right here, okay? A little bit of, I have turmeric, crushed red peppers, coarse black pepper, organic salt seasoning, pink Himalayan salt with garlic in it, all important fish sauce, all right? And as far as the veggies that are going to go in my meal, I have snow peas, I have some garbanzo beans or chickpeas, whatever you call it. I have eggplant, bell peppers, some green onions, and as far as herbs go, I have some basil, cilantro, and garlic. So I'm going to go ahead now and cut these things up and prep them, and then we're going to come back and we're going to show you how we season up our halibut fillet and also our wild shrimp that we have prepared for the pescatarian side of this meal. So stay tuned, I'll be right back. All right, so now that we got our veggies all chopped up, got my eggplant chopped up, my cilantro, basil, garlic, I've chopped up my onions. One pile is fine, the other pile is a little thick. I'm gonna explain how that works. I've got my red bell pepper, my green onions. So now that we have this all chopped up, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna show you guys how to prep the shrimp and the halibut. So you know I had a big halibut fillet. Now I've cut it up into nice sized chunks like that. People always ask me how I season my food. So I season it very simple, okay? I'm gonna show you first. Take a little bit of Himalayan salt, just a little bit. You don't want too much, okay? Put that on the shrimp as well, since I have it out, okay? Next up, I do my non-salt organic seasoning. A lot of people don't realize that flavoring food is not about salt, it's about flavor. So this right here has like dried garlic, parsley, onion, and a whole bunch of other herbs that have been dried. And then you can actually go very heavy with this, okay, which I do. I'm gonna do the same thing on my halibut, okay. Once again, there's absolutely no salt in this. So you can go as heavy as you like. You can make it herb crusted if you like, all right? Next up, I have coarse black pepper, which gives a really good flavor. So I put a little bit of coarse black pepper, okay? Make sure when you buy your seasonings, as much as you can, buy organic. Coarse black pepper. There we go. I'm gonna use a little bit of red pepper flakes because I like a little bit of spice on my food. So a little red pepper flakes, not too much. You can go heavier if you like, depending on how much spice you want. And since we're making curry, turmeric always goes very well with curry. Turmeric has a very balancing effect on curry. So I take a little bit of turmeric, not a whole lot, but a little bit of turmeric, not much, okay? And last but not least, like I said, we have a little bit of coconut curry. And so I take about just a little bit right here. Put it in. A little bit of coconut curry on my shrimp as well. All right? And I take that and I just go ahead and mix it in real quick so you get nice and even on both sides. And my dish is already greased down, so it's not gonna stick. And then you just spread them out for nice. And then the same thing with the shrimp. Okay. All right, and now we're fully seasoned. So you see what it looks like when it's fully seasoned. There we go. There we go. And so now I'm going to take these and stick them in my oven at 350. All right. And so now we're going to come back and we're going to get going with cooking the rest of the stuff, because that's only going to take about 15 minutes to be done. Okay, so now we have our pan on the stove. Go ahead and hit it. All right. So now we're going to start adding in our onions and other things like that so we can saute that, because this is the beginning of our actual dish. So I take my fine chopped onions and I put them in. Okay. I take a little bit of my cilantro, put that in. I take my garlic and a little bit of my basil, toss that in. I take a little bit of my bell peppers. I don't want too much of them. Just a little bit. Green onions. And a little bit of my eggplant. All right? Go ahead and move that around in there. And I'm gonna let this heat up for about 2 minutes while they saute, and then we'll be right back. All right, so now that we have this sauteed now it's time for us to start adding in a few of our items. So we're gonna go ahead and add our coconut milk, organic Thai coconut milk, and that's what's actually gonna make our sauce mostly, okay? So add that in, all right? Next up, we're gonna add our curry paste, our coconut curry paste. So just go ahead and open that, and add that in. Second one. Perfect. All right. And since we have garbanzo beans or chickpeas, they tend to be a little bit more tough. So we're going to go ahead and add those in now so those can cook down so they can be a little bit more tender. So we go ahead and mix that in a little bit. Turn our stove down to medium and let this simmer. All right, so now that this is simmered down a little bit, now we're going to start adding a little bit more veggies. So we're going to go ahead and add our snow peas in. Okay. We're going to add a little bit of our onions. A little bit more cilantro. A little bit of our basil, a little bit of our bell peppers, and some of our eggplant. So let them all get a little tender. Okay, go ahead and mix that in, and let them do their thing for about 3 minutes or so. All right, so now that this is now simmering, now I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more flavor to my food, add a little bit more season. So the same non-salt seasoning I had before. Once again, you can be very liberal with that. So I'm going to go ahead and add that in because that's what actually adds flavor to your food, not necessarily salt. Okay, that, add a little black pepper. Perfect. All right. A little bit of red flakes, not too much. All right. And last but not least, take a little bit of my coconut curry to deepen my flavor a little bit. Perfect. All right. And so I'm going to let this simmer for a little bit longer. And then let's go ahead and check on our shrimp and our fish because they should be just about done now since it's been about 15 minutes. So let me go ahead and look at that. So my shrimp pretty good. We don't want to overcook the shrimp, so I'm going to go ahead and set it on the side. Okay. Let's take a look at this fish. Perfect. My fish is also pretty much done as well, so I go ahead and I set that on the side. And we'll come back in a few seconds to finish this thing off. Alright, so now that we're pretty much done with everything, our fish and shrimp are done. Once again, they're sitting on the side, so we don't have to use them if you don't necessarily want to. We're going to add in the rest of our veggies because now everything is over. So we're going to add in our bell peppers. Okay. The rest of our eggplant. Okay. Our basil. Cilantro, and the last bit of our onions. We're going to save the long ends of the green onions for our garnish whenever we serve. Okay. And the last thing we're going to add is a tablespoon of our fish sauce, which is just a little extra. All right. We stir these in. And once again, we're either going to leave this on low or cover our pots, because what happens is that the heat will soften these veggies up ever so slightly, but it will still remain firm, which you really want, because that's actually the best way to eat your veggies. You don't want them too soft. So I'm going to go ahead and stir it all in there. And I'm going to let this simmer on low for about 15 minutes, like I said, and just let the heat from the pot soften up my eggplant and the rest of my food, and it should be ready to serve. I'm going to keep my shrimp and my halibut separate, once again, because I can always make this a pescatarian meal, or I can keep it as a vegan meal, and I can do this when I meal prep. I can take out a couple portions as straight vegan, or I can eat it as pescatarian if I add these things in. So this, you can actually, like I said, this can be very versatile. So that's all I have for you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know your questions and what have you, and try it out and let me know what you think.